The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, experienced a significant de-escalation in active combat around early 2023, leading many analysts to describe the situation as a frozen conflict. During this period, front lines stabilized and large-scale offensives diminished, resulting in a tenuous stalemate among the warring factions. While the world's attention remains firmly fixed on the unfolding events in the Ukraine-Russia war, recent developments from the Syrian front suggest a dramatic shift that could reshape the narrative entirely. On November 29, 2024, opposing groups, primarily led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, launched a surprise offensive, swiftly overrunning Aleppo with minimal resistance from government troops. Their rapid advance has drawn comparisons to the fall of Mosul in Iraq to ISIS in 2014, highlighting vulnerabilities within the Assad regime's defenses. This development marks the most substantial rebel advance since 2016, when government forces, bolstered by Russian support, regained control of the city. The fall of Aleppo signifies a critical juncture in the Syrian conflict, exposing the Assad regime's reliance on external support and its susceptibility to insurgent offensives. The involvement of various regional and international actors, each with distinct interests, continues to complicate the path toward a sustainable solution. The evolving dynamics underscore the protracted nature of the conflict and the challenges inherent in achieving lasting peace. Amid the renewed conflict in Syria following the opposition's capture of Aleppo, external support from nations like Israel, the United States, and Turkey has played a critical role in shaping the dynamics on the ground. This multifaceted involvement underscores the complexity of the Syrian conflict, where regional and global powers pursue overlapping and often competing agendas, shaping the trajectory of the war in unpredictable ways. The failure of Assad's allies, Iran and Russia, to prevent the recent rebel offensive and loss of Aleppo can be attributed to a combination of overstretched resources, strategic miscalculations, and evolving regional dynamics. Russia, heavily committed to its war in Ukraine, has diverted significant military assets and operational focus away from Syria. This redeployment has weakened its ability to provide the intensive air support and logistical backing that had previously been critical in propping up the Assad regime. Similarly, Iran's extensive regional commitments, including supporting proxy groups in Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen, have strained its capacity to reinforce Assad's forces effectively. Moreover, internal challenges such as domestic unrest and economic sanctions have further limited Iran's ability to project power in Syria. Both nations also underestimated the organizational and strategic capabilities of the opposition forces, which executed a surprise and highly coordinated attack on Aleppo. The lack of cohesive and immediate countermeasures from Assad's allies reflects their waning influence in Syria and the broader Middle East, highlighting the vulnerabilities of the Assad regime despite years of external support. Hama, a critical city in central Syria, fell into rebel hands on December 4, 2024. Rebel forces led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and allied factions launched a decisive offensive that overwhelmed government defenses. Hama's fall was a significant blow to the Assad regime as it disrupted key supply routes and morale within the remaining loyalist forces. Reports indicated minimal resistance, with large numbers of Syrian Arab army personnel retreating or surrendering. The loss of Hama signaled the unraveling of the Assad regime's territorial control. By December 8, 2024, Damascus, Syria's capital and the seat of Bashar al-Assad's government, succumbed to rebel forces. The advance toward the capital was swift and coordinated, with rebels capitalizing on the Syrian army's disarray following defeats in Hama and other regions. HTS and its allies encountered limited resistance as they entered the capital, with loyalist forces abandoning key government facilities. Symbolic sites, including the presidential palace and central security complexes, fell without major clashes. President Bashar al-Assad and his inner circle fled the city under cover of night, reportedly seeking asylum in Russia, which had been a critical ally throughout the Syrian conflict. The fall of Damascus marked the collapse of Assad's rule and was celebrated as a turning point by opposition forces and their supporters. However, concerns immediately arose about the power vacuum, the potential for internecine conflict among opposition factions, and the fate of civilians in the aftermath of the regime's collapse. Following the collapse of the Assad regime, Israel has escalated its air campaign to counter Iranian and Hezbollah forces exploiting the power vacuum. Key targets include Iranian military infrastructure, Hezbollah supply lines, and strategic sites like research facilities and weapon depots, particularly near Damascus and the Golan Heights. The strikes aim to contain Iran's influence, disrupt Hezbollah's access to advanced weaponry, and prevent extremist groups from seizing military assets. That wraps up our latest update on the Syrian civil war. What are your thoughts on the recent developments? Share your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest developments from conflict zones and military technology around the world. Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to stay updated with our latest content. And while you're here, why not check out another one of our exciting videos? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.